If you could give your brief introduction.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am ANTRIKSH JAIN and I belong to Sahibzada Ajit Singh Nagar district of Mohali. I have completed my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Chandigarh Engineering College, Mohali. After that, I have worked with St. Gobain Glass India for 10 months. And since last 2 years, I have been pursuing civil services, preparation for
Say
civil
again,
services.
which organization you worked with after your engineering?
St. Gobain.
St.
Sir,
Gobain.
Yes, St. Gobain Glass India.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, my interests include playing badminton, abstract paintings, and palmistry.
Okay. Antriksh, as we see, you are basically an engineer, and that too a mechanical engineering,
Yes,
which
sir.
is one of the oldest civil, mechanical, electrical. They are the oldest hardcore, what we call hardcore engineering fields. But surprisingly, then you diversified, are trying to diversify into civil services. So,
Yes,
can you justify as to why you want to shift your focus from engineering to the bureaucracy?
Sir, I believe the reasons are related to the pull factors that are associated with civil services. I think civil services provide me individual growth, career growth, and diverse set of opportunities, which I believe I won't be getting in core subjects like mechanical engineering.
Hmm. Okay. As far as mechanical engineering is concerned, what was your favorite subject there?
Sir, it was production technology.
Okay, production technology. Okay. You must have studied the stress and strain curve.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little bit about stress and strain curve?
Sir, stress and strain curves are related to different materials, and we try to basically, based upon that graph, we try to find out the strength of materials.
Hmm.
So, for example, steel, it showcases a profile which is more of ductile. It showcases how exactly it is absorbing the stresses and when it is breaking. In the same way, similar materials can be plotted on stress strain curve regarding their properties.
Okay, coming back to the civil services, you know, Vallabhbhai Patel, our first Home Minister after independence, and who is known to be the basic architect of reorganization, consolidation of various states into the Indian Union. He addressed the first batch of IAS aspirants. There he said that if you want to give a service to the society, selfless service to the society and the humanity, there is no other better place than being an IAS bureaucrat. What is your take on this?
Sir, I think with respect to context of that era, I mean, socio-economic indicators were not good, our economy was not good, and civil services was one of the job where civil servants could have served better. But I think nowadays there are diverse opportunities. Civil services definitely one of the best ways to serve the society. However, there are other ways also, and I totally agree with our late Home Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that it is still one of the most precious services for the service of the people and for the service of the nation.
Okay. As you yourself mentioned about other diverse career opportunities which are available now, and keeping in mind the shortage of bureaucrats in the administration. Now, government is inducting the lateral induction, as they call it, from the corporate and other specified fields into the civil services. What are your views on that? Is it right? Is it wrong? And what implications or interplay it's going to have between these lateral inductees and the grassroots bureaucrats?
Sir, I think the decision of the government regarding lateral entry is a good start. However, it's still not materialized fully because there are only 3-year service for lateral entrants. I believe IAS officers are too generalist to sometimes deal with specific challenges, for example, related to urban planning, water management, or with respect to disaster management, etc. So, lateral entrants are definitely required. However, there could be issues with regular joinees and lateral entrants regarding promotions, etc. So, in few articles also I've read that this might be an interplay, and because they are only working for 3 years, so they might get an upper hand.
Okay, they might get an upper hand. How?
Sir, in terms of later in terms of secretary level promotions, etc., because they are specialist in nature as compared to generalist civil servants that we currently have.
Okay, as you are saying that a civil services officer is more generalistic in nature vis-a-vis
Right, sir.
these lateral inductees who are hardcore from their specified fields. Now, as you know, you are yourself an engineer. So, don't you think that rather than having a shot at the civil services, you could have gone in for Indian engineering services and become a specialist, and you would have got upper hand, as you are saying, all throughout your career, rather than only as a lateral inductee if that opportunity is given to you?
Sir, but I believe again the topic of diversity will be lost then. I think I feel more of a generalistic, and diversity definitely attracts me. And I believe that if diversity is there, a person can learn more in terms of skills, in terms of management, in terms of leadership, and different people he can interact with. So
Okay.
I think civil services need diverse entrants, diversity in terms of regular entrants, and specialized people in terms of lateral entrants. And there is no match to it. Both skills are very much required.
Do you feel that these people, those who are from other all India services, like we are talking about engineering services and all, they need to be given more, they need to be empowered basically, so that they are also included in the decision making process of the civil administration of that area, so that you get definitive specialized inputs? Will that be a workable model?
Yes, sir. I believe it will be a workable model because it's always better to have a specialist in a decision-making body. And I feel there are many services. Indian engineering services is one of them. Like there is railway services, etc. So whenever we are taking a specific ministry-related decisions, people from these backgrounds can be included.
Okay. Now we'll get you back to Punjab and Haryana, this part of the country. But this debate of Chandigarh, whether it should go to Punjab or whether it should go to Haryana, with every government changing, now since there is a change of government in Punjab, so now there is again a clamor for Chandigarh. Similarly, as a counter to that, the Haryana also got activated again, though there was no government change there, and they have passed a counter resolution to that. So this issue has been simmering for far too long. Don't you feel that? And what is going to be the ultimate solution for that? Your take?
Sir, I think the controversy erupted because of Union Territory Civil Services rules that are now in place in Chandigarh, and there have been many accords in previously also. For example, Indira Gandhi government, Rajiv Longowal Accord, and later on Venkatramaiah Commission. All of them favored Chandigarh should go to Punjab and Haryana should build their own capital. I think now solution also lies in similar lines only. I feel Haryana should develop their own capital. Center should give grant for that, and it will be a pride for Haryana also to have its own capital and rather not a joint capital. So it's an emotive issue, I feel, but as agreement says, Haryana should build their own capital.
Just for the sake of discussion, what you are saying, that is one model. But counter to that, let's give then Chandigarh to Haryana and let Punjab make its own capital. As it is, the new Chandigarh and all, they're all in Punjab.
Sir, if I have to compare both the states itself, Haryana is now way more developing or more developed as compared to Punjab in many areas, be it services, be it industries, and it is having good cities. For example, Karnal, Kurukshetra, Gurgaon, and most importantly, Panchkula as well. But in case of Punjab, they are only having Ludhiana as one of the centers, which could be considered for a capital.
And
But,
Ludhiana is more centrally located as it is.
Yes, sir. As compared to Punjab's geography, definitely.
Yeah.
Sir, but if we see past reorganization of states as well, there is only one exception, that is Hyderabad, which is going to successive state and not the parent state. So, but if we see other examples, it is the parent state which is getting the capital. And obviously, after independence, also Chandigarh was destined to be the capital of Punjab. So, taking Chandigarh away from Punjab, I don't think it's a very prudent step.
Okay. Now coming back to the polity, we have got a parliamentary system of democracy, and there is another democratic setup. As you know, places like United States and all, they have got the presidential form of democracy, and there has been a debate all along whether our parliamentary system of democracy meets our aspirations of a common man, or there are so many pitfalls like criminalization of politics and people not getting the justice or their due, whatever it is. You are well aware of that. And Honorable Prime Minister also hinted a number of forums that we could have a debate on this issue. Do you feel that the present system of democracy has failed the nation, and perhaps we can have a rethink and go in for some other alternative, whether it is presidential or a hybrid model form of democracy?
Sir, I feel parliamentary form of democracy is doing good in our country. I don't feel to move towards presidential form of government because of cultic leaders that Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar also talked about it in assembly, where he emphasized that we don't need cultic leaders, we need statesmen, and that is more possible if we have parliamentary democracy. However, I feel there are certain issues and constitutional amendments are required, and if I have to state these things, I think fundamental duties must be first of all enforced, then women's reservation and many other things. Regarding criminalization of politics as well, Supreme Court is doing a good job. But I think legislators also have to take a charge and ensure that constitutional amendments are done in such a way that it is beneficial for the whole country. But I don't see India moving towards presidential form of government.
As you are saying, legislators have to take the charge. they have to take not only the charge, they have to catch the bull by the horn. Okay. But you named Baba Sahib Ambedkar and our national leaders of that era after the independence. But I think they would have never imagined, even in their wildest dreams, that our democracy or the democratic process will degenerate, I would say, to such a level that criminalization you already brought out, elections being fought on the religion and the cost basis and all that, and the votes can be purchased, those kind of ailments which are well known to everybody. How can legislature themselves can legislate for themselves and make our society to get rid of these evils which are going from bad to worse?
Sir, I believe popular pressure is most important in democracy, and if there is a similar movement like India against corruption, at this stage, we can see good legislation in near future. However, it's definitely an important issue to be resolved, and the Supreme Court is doing its job at one level. But again, it's about people of the country. If they are willing, they should not vote for a particular candidate. But again, political parties are finding loopholes in terms of Supreme Court directives as well. So it's a long shot, but I believe it's in the hands of people itself to ensure that we get the good amendments by a democratic process.
Okay. Going beyond India, SARC has been an organization which has been in existence for quite some time. And it was a good grouping of especially South Asian region countries. And India has been quite an active and important leading light of this organization. But now, over a period of last few years, now it has lost its shine, and now the national focus seems to be shifting towards another organization, BIMSTEC. Okay, so what are the pros and cons, and why this shift is taking place? What is the primary reason for that?
So the primary reason towards shifting towards BIMSTEC is attitude of Pakistan. I believe the terrorism, cross-border terrorism, that they are actually infiltrating terrorists in our territory is one of the reasons. Again, there is BBIN Motor Vehicles Agreement, which was South Asian Motor Vehicles Agreement, which was opposed by Pakistan. Then there is SARC Satellite also, which was opposed by Pakistan. So it is trying to oppose every step that India was taking in SARC. So India moved towards BIMSTEC now. And BIMSTEC is having its own pros and cons. Talking about pros, so it will act as a bridge between South Asia and Southeast Asia. And it will be beneficial for our northeastern region. So I believe that BIMSTEC is going to be a good organization moving forward. Recently, charter has also been chalked out. It involves not just security, but economic cooperation and other aspects. So I feel because of these reasons, SARC is now being replaced by BIMSTEC.
Do you think that it was a good step that just because one bad guy in the setup, you totally dump that setup and go in for a totally altogether new setup, mutually exclusive, excluding that bad guy? You are throwing the baby with the bottle. Is that right?
Sir, I believe BIMSTEC is not that new. It was established first in 1997, and it has its own history. And we have our own ambitions in northeastern region as well as Southeast Asia. And our diplomacy was all about isolating Pakistan on international stage. So I believe it was the best move at that particular time to counter Pakistan and isolate it.
Okay. Now, I would like to have your views on the CPEC of this Chinese CPEC. What implications it has for India, and why India is totally outrightly against CPEC, whereas, as you know, majority of the countries around the world, they have signed for CPEC, to be a member of the CPEC.
Yes, sir. Sir, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a part of Belt and Road Initiative of China.
Yeah, right.
And actually, it passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which is actually India's territory. And because it is against our territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation, India is totally out of the project. And that is the major reason, actually.
Okay. But then India, of course, we have shown our natural concern, which is we have to show it. But apart from that, what needs to be done? Because CPEC is going on with its full capacity. There is nothing stopping China or Pakistan. So beyond making noise here and there, what else needs to be done so that we really stop it going through our Pak-occupied Kashmir?
Sir, from my limited understanding, I can just simply say that Kashmir has been internationalized a lot, and only bilateral relations.
But we don't feel so. India doesn't feel so that it is an international issue. It is an issue between India and Pakistan. And in fact, as far as our national policy is concerned, this is not the issue. Issue is only the part of Kashmir, which is with Pakistan. That we have to get back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I don't foresee any diplomatic way of countering the project right now. I need to read about it more.
Okay. Well, as far as BRI is concerned, a lot of countries in our neighborhood, they have fallen in this trap. Sri Lanka is the shining example, where they have already leased out one port. They had to. Nepal is also fast approaching in that direction. So China is encircling India from the south, from the east, Myanmar as it is, as going into their trap, and now north, Nepal also if goes. So how it will harm India's national interests?
Sir, India wants to ensure its influence in South Asian region, and China has been trying to encircle India by leasing out ports and making naval bases, for example, in Maldives, and having Gwadar port. So it's a time-tested strategy of China to isolate India so that they get the influence in South Asian region, which was once India's place of arena. So I believe that India is doing its job also. For example, there is a Duqm port in Oman, and then there is Chabahar port in Iran, and we have good relations with Myanmar also in that aspect, like Sitwe port. Then we are also building Trincomalee oil tankers in Sri Lanka. So we are also trying to maintain our influence in the region. Obviously, we do not have economic clout like China, but still our policy is inclined towards retaining influence in these regions. And I think our diplomats are doing a fantastic job in this respect.
Can you explain, elaborate little more about these Trincomalee oil reservoirs or oil storage capacity is there?
Sir, I am not very sure about it, but if I have to make an educated guess, it is more about the strategic reserves of oil, as far as I know, but I am not very sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Antriksh,
Yes, ma'am.
you just had a discussion with sir, and there was a specific question with regard to Chandigarh, Punjab. Am I audible? Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a very specific question with regard to the Chandigarh, Punjab, and Haryana, and Chandigarh being capital of both the states. Can you tell me the act, basic act under which these states, Haryana, and some part was given to Himachal and Chandigarh were created, and when was it created? When did this act come into force?
When this act was Chandigarh, capital of Punjab Act of 1953. When Chandigarh was declared as the capital of Punjab, and some parts were shifted to Himachal Pradesh as a union territory. Later on, there was Punjab Reorganization Act of 1966, by which
61.
Haryana was
61.
created.
Yes. Okay, I see from your CV that you are a student of thermodynamics, and besides that, you have interest in palmistry and freestyle abstract painting, right? Why abstract?
There's no reason particularly, but my grandfather was into paintings as well. So usually when I feel low, I take the brush in my hand and paint. I like colors basically. So I just paint anything and later try to interpret it.
But when do you feel low and why?
Sometimes, sir. There's not a specific reason for it, but sometimes.
Okay.
And you have any idea who's the father of abstract painting?
Yes, ma'am. It's a Russian painter who is known as Kandinsky. He started it. Basically, he was more into concentric circles and squares. But there are different types of abstract paintings.
And that was way back in 1912.
Yes.
What are your weaknesses and what are your strengths? And how do you foresee yourself as an bureaucrat, as an administrator, utilizing your strength in betterment of the society or work?
I think if I talk about my strength, it firstly will be my confidence. Secondly, I'll be giving it to leadership qualities that include efficiency, punctuality, and most importantly, empathy as well. And thirdly, I'll talk about I'm easily approachable and a good listener. So these things, I guess, work in my favor to become a good civil servant and help people. Secondly, if I talk about my weakness, it is my straightforwardness. I think it's good as a civil servant, but not very good when it comes to personal relationships.
Yeah, Antriksh.
Yes, ma'am.
Your name is Antriksh. How would you signify your name and the impact of this, Antriksh in your life?
Ma'am, I think just like space is limitless, I think I also have limitless possibilities and unexplored potential. So that's how I guess it signifies.
Okay. Nowadays, you see in the present scenario, you have decided to be bureaucrat or administrator. So how would you cope up with the politics and politicizing this bureaucracy?
Ma'am, I think every job, be it engineering job, be it private job or a government job, every job is having certain issues, and bureaucracy or civil services is also having its own issues. However, I have to cope with all these things, and I think still civil services will be the one of the job where person can do a lot of things. So I don't see politicization as one of the major issues moving forward.
Okay, Antriksh. Have you ever heard the term modern monetary theory?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I haven't read it.
Okay. In the earlier days of lockdown or pandemic, it was Atmanirbhar Bharat, Abhiyan, it was launched in that period. What was the basic, motivation behind it?
Ma'am, considering the pandemic situation, we face supply chain disruptions. And in that time, Prime Minister gave this idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which was more about diversifying our supply chains and becoming a part of global supply chain. India as a major part of it. So the recent schemes also, for example, PLI scheme, are all in line with this vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat only. Even defense indigenization is in line with that.
Okay. Don't you feel we are going back to the pre-LPG era with this Abhiyan?
Sorry, ma'am, I beg to differ here. I think it's more
Pre-LPG
about,
era, we are going back to that era.
yes, ma'am. It's about local for global now.
Yeah.
It's not only about local.
Yeah, yeah.
We just want to become part of global supply chain so that we can increase our exports also. So I don't feel any worry in that. However, we need to focus more on R&D and innovation.
Okay. So, do you feel is it similar to the import substitution?
No, ma'am. It's not similar. We have to work on our capabilities and get stronger and stronger in that. But it doesn't mean that we are completely substituting every import.
Okay. Do you know something about the consumer sentiments? When we talk about the happy and good days will be returned back in the Indian economy, so do you feel? What do you mean by the consumer sentiments?
Ma'am, I'm not very sure about consumer sentiment, but as I did my job at St. Gobain, so I was also part of sales and marketing team. So I think consumer sentiment, be it government as a whole or for a company, it's more about fulfilling their requirements, fulfilling their demands, and fulfilling their needs. So in our economic point of view also, as soon as economy is coming on track again, so consumer sentiments will be fulfilled.
Antrik, what do you mean by V-shaped, economic recovery?
Yes, ma'am. So this issue has been in the news for quite a while, and government is also claiming that our economy is currently in a V-shaped economic recovery. That means when we had minus 23% of decline in quarter 1 of fiscal year 21, then we later have a good economic growth again in positive terms, in positive numbers. This is what V-shaped economic recovery is. But however, if I have to point out, currently it's not a V-shaped recovery, rather K-shaped recovery that we are witnessing. Because some of the sectors are booming very good. For example, some of the service sectors. But in the same time, the more contact intensive sectors, for example, tourism, hospitality, they are not doing that great. So it's a K-shaped recovery as of now, but prospects are good. We will be back.
There is another one concept that is the U-shaped economic recovery. How would you differentiate?
In V-shaped recovery, it was a sharp movement into positive territory again. But in case of U-shaped recovery, there is a slight time, like a longer time, which is there during the recession period. So that's how V-shaped recovery and V-shaped recovery can be differentiated. Thank you.
Hello, Antriksh, how are you? I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Okay. Antriksh, what was the first constitutional amendment?
Sir, it was related to Article 31, and we added Schedule 9 also in that Constitutional Amendment Act.
What was that about?
Sir, it was about shielding laws from judicial review and basically compulsory acquisition of properties.
Okay. Why should you be selected as a civil servant?
Sir, I feel, as I already mentioned, that I am easily approachable and a good listener.
So many other people are also approachable and they are very good listener. Why should you be selected?
definitely, sir. I agree with your point. However, I think I have that confidence, good communication, and a zeal to work for government. And these are the only reasons which I can think of as of now.
Okay. You have interest in palmistry.
Yes,
How
sir.
did that develop? Let's talk about that.
Sir, I watched some movie. I don't remember which movie, and there was instances of people showing their hands to some pundits, and that's how I generated that curiosity. Like, what exactly is this thing? And when I later learned about it more and more and more, so I have a lot more information now.
Do you think it's in sync with the scientific temperament that is required of any budding bureaucrat?
I believe, sir, yes, it is because Supreme Court and Bombay High Court, in their respective judgments, also have considered palmistry as a science. So
So
it is in line.
these fields like palmistry, astrology, what do you think? Do you think these are form of sciences or some sort of mumbo jumbo, if not say pseudoscience?
Sir, it's an evolving subject which is still lacking empirical evidence. I think if we are into more, if we do or conduct more research in this arena, we will definitely see it as a science. Because in palmistry itself, if you'll allow me, it's more about the lines are created based on what you think and how your brain works. Because brain cells are also connected to your nerves and hands, and placement of a baby in womb, how much amniotic fluid was there in the womb. So these are some aspects by which we can say that palmistry is definitely a science. However, it is lacking in empirical evidence.
What makes any subject a science subject?
Sir, in modern parlance, if I have to define a science, then it should follow a scientific method. And for that, we have to draw a sample and conduct experimentation, then verify it. So that's how a subject evolves into a science.
So it's fair to call it a pseudoscience, right?
I don't believe, sir. I beg to differ here.
But you are only giving me the parameters for science, and we can see that your palmistry does not meet that criteria. So why won't you let me call it a pseudoscience?
Sir, in 1900s, there have been studies regarding that in West, and there have been instances of it trying to basically make it a discipline. So, just like any other science, there have been instances of making it more streamlined, and because of these particular things only, I am considering it a science, and moreover, because of the judgments of Supreme Court and Bombay High Court.
So based on their judgment, you would call it a science.
But then I try to read out what they had in judgment and why they are actually calling it a science.
Okay. Okay. You are into paintings as well. So,
Yes, sir.
So, what is your favorite work? Why?
Sir, it's related to a painter which is named as H.F. Raza. I don't remember the name of the painting, but it's more like a screaming painting. The painting is so intense that one tries to understand what exactly is the context, and that interpretations that I see is what abstract painting is all about. And I believe the paintings that actually evoke your emotions and evoke your interpretations is actually a good painting in itself. I don't see pictorial paintings to be the best paintings. Rather, abstract paintings are the ones which are actually more important.
How do you see the contribution of Raja Ravi Verma in Indian painting system?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have limited knowledge about Raja Ravi Verma, but he was the first one to use English watercolors in paintings, and basically, I only know about this much only, sir.
You only know this much. There was this European painter Van Gogh. He used to eat paint. Do you know what color of paint he used to eat?
I don't have any idea, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You've heard of him, right?
No, sir.
You've not. Okay. Okay, Antriksh, this is it from my side as well. So we'll get back to you again in 5 minutes with the feedback, 5 to 10 minutes, and
Yes, sir.
with the board's approval, I think we can conclude the interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, Antriksh, we'll get back to you in 10 minutes. Okay?
Should I cut the call, sir?
Yeah, let's cut this call and we'll call you back again in 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.